What's up, you dirtbags? This is Luke Egebrotten, and doing a little bit of a different intro for you on this episode. Uh, our guest, a lot of you might know him. His name's Anthony Mann Jr., an absolute dog, just one of my great friends, and a trailblazer in the industry. For those of you who do know him, you know that something serious has happened recently. So I wanted to address that before this podcast episode. March 13th, just a couple weeks ago, Anthony and I recorded this episode and had a blast and crushed it. And it just had so much fun. A few days later, so that was Thursday, March 13th. A few days later, Anthony actually had a heart attack. And crazy, I saw it on his story, because we were doing 75 hard both at the same time. And he just put on his story that, he failed 75 hard. And this is a couple days after we had just recorded. And then he kind of gave us updates on his story and essentially, yeah, had a heart attack. So I, of course, reached out to him, checked in, and you'll love this. He messages me and kind of gave me all the updates of what happened and everything, but he wanted me to tell all of you guys listening he is as strong as a bull and he's not going anywhere. So as you guys are listening to this episode, just know that this episode was recorded a couple days before this happened, but it does not change Anthony's mindset to life. And what an incredible opportunity at a second chance of life, or maybe a third chance. Um, but also too, just the ability to try and bounce back and to be better. It's, of course we're praying and thinking about Anthony. We want him to heal up and get better. And so as you go through this episode, definitely reach out to him. The best place you can reach him is on Instagram. It's just at Anthony Group Hardscapes. Shoot him a message right now before the episode. Let him know you're listening in, you're thinking of him, you're praying for him, you hope he recovers. But he's a great friend. He brings the energy in everything he does. He's a great leader, a great mentor. I think you guys are going to absolutely love this episode. But I just wanted to put this out there for those of you that do know him and that did hear the news, that, to just give a small update there. And then also for those of you who don't know Anthony and didn't hear that this all happened. So hope you guys enjoy the episode. Like I said, reach out to him on Instagram. Let him know that you're listening to his episode on the Dirtbags. You're supporting him. You're thinking of him. I think just flooding him with these messages would mean a lot. So the power of prayer can go a very long way. So let's keep Anthony in our thoughts and prayers. But business has to be done. And he's back at it. He's being smart about everything, of course. He's going to the doctor, he's getting cleaned up. But yeah, just very, very thankful and grateful that he's still with us. So as you're listening to this episode, just think about that, how this is your time to reach out to him, and just very grateful that he's with us. So with that, we'll cue the music and we will go into our normal episode. Anthony Mann Jr., the man behind Anthony Group Hardscapes. Let's go, baby. He's back. All right. What's up, you dirtbags? My name is Luke Egebrotten, your host of the Dirtbags podcast. We've got a huge show today. Can't thank you guys enough for all the feedback you've been giving us. The Wet House episodes, the three-part series we put together. A lot of great feedback there. We brought in the equipment. We went to the wet show with a bunch of guys, and we recorded 4 podcasts in 3 days. One of them has not aired yet. I think we're going to vault that for another day. It was definitely the first night, and Brian and most of the people definitely had quite a few drinks, and it was a great time. So thank you guys for all the feedback on those. It's been really cool to just really dive in and see, what can we do better? What should we bring back this year? And what guests should we have on? And so before I get into our guest today, because a lot of you guys have requested this one, and I think this is going to be very eye-opening, insightful, impactful, and I've been really looking forward to this episode. But before we get into that, we have to thank our episode sponsor. A few of you have already reached out to him, which is amazing because he is one of our newer sponsors. It's our guy, Charlie Huff. And so if you guys need insurance for your construction company, which every single company does, reach out to our guy, Charlie Huff. He only does he only does insurance for construction companies. So he knows the landscape. He knows what you guys are doing. He knows what you guys need. If you need a free quote on a plan, if you need him to compare something for you, definitely reach out to him. His number is 385-268-9939. Tell him, of course, you've been listening to the Dirtbags podcast. You wanted to reach out. He'll take great, great care of you. Him and I stay in touch. He lets me know, hey, this person reached out to me. Great guy. We got him set up with a policy. And he's just really trying to move the industry forward and lead with education and value. So he's also in our Dirtbags Facebook group. You'll see he's one of our group experts. So you can ask any insurance questions you have in there. And if you haven't joined yet, go join the Dirtbags Facebook group. I'll make sure to jump in there and let you guys in. So once again, that's Charlie Huff, our guy, the construction insurance man. You can reach out to him at 385-268-9939 or his website at sigutah.com. And then second to that, a few people have told me I need to plug our business a little bit more. So we own Phaser Marketing, and it is a digital marketing for you guys listening. Whether you're in excavation, hardscaping, or septic, we do digital marketing for 6, 7, and 8-figure excavation companies. So as we're coming around, it's late March right now. If you're listening to this, it might be April, May. This is the busy season for you guys. This is a great time to get started because our onboarding process from onboarding to getting the website launched is about 8 weeks. And then for the SEO to really kick in and for you guys to start ranking on Google is another 3 to 6 months. So definitely reach out to me. Just shoot me a text. My personal number is 218-234-7345. We can always jump on a call, or you can just shoot me a text and let me know you're listening to the show, and we can stay in touch that way. So now that we have those sponsorships out of the way, I am so excited to finally, for the first time ever as a Dirtbags guest, have the man, Anthony Mann Jr. on the show. Anthony, how are we doing, man?
What's up, brother? Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And Mangiolomini, is that how you say your last name?
Mangiolomini.
Mangiolomini. I still
Close
can't
enough.
nail it.
Close enough.
So that's got to be Italian, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And then you just go by Anthony Mann Jr.
Yeah. So, my grandfather had it shortened when he came over.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Gotcha.
So now I'm a man.
Gotcha, man. Well, it's so great to have you on. You and I have been, friends for a while now. We met up at Storks Plows last year in Pennsylvania and just had a great time out there at the show, the Snow Alliance show. And we
Coming
obviously
up again real soon.
Could we give a shout out there? I don't know if you have it pulled up, but I believe it's April coming up, isn't it?
It's April 25th, I believe. It's up the Friday. It's Friday night into Saturday. At Storks, Case Equipment is having a pre-show party the night before. And you're going to have a bunch of the best snow guys in the industry will be there. So yeah, it's going to be a good weekend.
Man, it was incredible. I don't even know how I got the invite, but Jeremy and Steve from the Snow Jobs podcast, they were so gracious to talk to Gene Stork and also talk to me and say, hey, let's bring Luke out there to speak on this panel. And I got to go last year, and gosh, what a fun time. It's all hosted at the Storks Plows HQ, and what a compound that is as well. And so if you guys are in the commercial snow industry, definitely check it out. It's a Snow Alliance show. Anthony, you'll be there, correct?
Yep, we'll be there.
Yep. And then a lot of familiar faces. If you guys listen to the Snow Jobs podcast, if you listen to the Dirtbags podcast, you're going to have a lot of community at the show. So big shout out to those guys.
We're going to do another live podcast, Snow Jobs. We're going to do another live a live shot there.
Perfect,
so,
man.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. What a great time. And so definitely check that out. And then, gosh, there's so many things that I want to dive into. But first, we want to give our listeners some context. So for people that don't know who you are, you own 3 businesses. If you can kind of give us What do you do? How'd you get into those businesses? We've got Anthony Group Hardscapes, Anthony Winter Service, and Hardscape Mastery. If maybe we'll start with an overview of all three, but then I'd love to dive into each one and get some more depth into them.
Okay. So Anthony Group Hardscapes and Excavating, that's my main company that I've got 33 years in the industry. I took a couple year hiatus to go into the union as a crane operator. But I'm a third generation Mason. My father wasn't really a Mason. He was a builder, a union guy, but he did his own masonry when he built houses. But my grandfather built a lot of the churches in North New Jersey. He was a stone mason. He was a craftsman. The
Mhm.
detail. So that's where I go for my inspiration. When we want to get better, we go look at these old churches and the work that it took and the detail that they put. You don't see that anymore anywhere. Like that detail is
Man,
gone.
and what I love about you, and I want to give you always say details matter. Like that is what you will stand on. And I feel like just maybe what you've seen is that that has kind of been washed away over the
It's
generations.
timeless. Like it's just not here anymore. And
Mm,
making my grandfather proud, we're trying to bring that back. I mean, every 90 degree is got a miter. I mean, it's all about the details. I mean, and that's how you set yourself apart. That's how
yeah.
you get the bigger jobs. If you're not worried about the little details, you're not gonna have that final product that the customer is just wowed by. And that's in the hardscape industry, that's what it's about. Listen, concrete foundation, how much detail is going into that? Not a lot.
Mhm.
But if we can take it and put it in on those hardscape projects, and people, it's funny. There's some, a couple contractors around here, and they'll walk into a backyard to do a price for a deck or whatever they're going to do, and they'll walk back and go, "Oh, I guess Anthony was here." My work stands out from everybody else's.
Yeah.
Listen, often imitated, never duplicated. That's been a big thing lately.
Oh man.
So, but I
Wait, say
love
that
it.
again. Often imitated, never duplicated.
Yes. So a lot of people mimicking our style in the area now. But listen, if I can start trends or if I can show new ways, I want to teach. I have a
Yeah.
passion for the hardscape industry. So that led into the other company of Hardscape Mastery.
Gotcha.
Um, Hardscape Mastery, I've been mentoring about 7 or 8 guys for a couple of years now. One of them
Mhm.
worked for me for 10 years, started his own business, and he didn't have any work. So he subcontract for me. And then one day he's like, "Hey, I got a little job, 2 days. I'm going to go and do it and I'll be back." And then it was, "Oh, I can work 3 days this week or 2 days." And now
Mhm.
he's off and running. He's got a great company built. And he comes to me now, like, "Hey, how do I do this? What do I do? Hey, I'm having a problem with insurance here." It's not always the technical stuff in the field, it's also the business side of it. And
Absolutely.
if I can help anybody get better, especially in this industry, that's what I want to do. So that was the whole premise between Hardscape Mastery.
Okay, so on that point, because I think you nailed it there. So Hardscape Mastery makes a lot of sense to me, makes a lot of sense to people listening. If somebody's interested in like working with you on that, how do they go about getting a hold of you? Is that something you're even taking on? If somebody's like just getting started out in the hardscaping world.
It's designed for the young guys, but
Yeah.
I have a lot of old guys coming to me, and it's surprising me. I
Mm,
had a gentleman, I was at a conference the other day speaking. He came up to me afterwards and, "Hey, I'd love to learn. Would you sit down and talk to me, teach me how you went from there to here?" Um, and it was cool. He's in his late 40s, and his problem is he's still in the field putting the pavers in.
mm,
And I
hmm.
told him the first step you got to do is work on the business, not in the business. And that was something I learned from one of my business coaches. And he's already starting to shift his mindset to hire people and get out of the field a little bit. And I said, "You don't have to get out completely. Start with 1 day a week, then go to 2 days a week. Stay out in
Hmm.
the field. Make sure the work is staying as good as you want it." I said, "But then step back, and that's how you're going to build your business."
And
The first year I hired a business coach for myself. We grew 700%, 706% or something crazy like that.
so where were you at in revenue roughly? And then what do you think was the main thing that caused that 700% growth?
Well, so over my career, we've had our ups and downs. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Like we've grown. we've gone back down, scaled back down, different economies that the country's been in over the last 30 years, So we at one time had 25 guys. That was back in the early 2000s, or actually late 2000s, it all just depended, on where we were at in life. I had a family for a while. I
Hmm.
scaled way back and took my son on a cross country trip one summer for the whole summer. So,
Wow.
we've had that. So it was kind of a return of me at this point. I said, you know what? We're kind of stagnant. Like, listen, we were doing great, but we weren't growing. We were doing this. I was in the field, put the pavers in, and, we just weren't growing. So I got a business coach. Um, Actually, first I started 75 Hard.
Okay,
Someone in
when was this? Because this is probably not the only time you've done 75 hard.
This was in 2020,
Yep.
2021. I forget right when the program first came out. Someone introduced it to me. I had just started, getting into the gym, or, thinking about getting into the gym. I've never worked out a day in my life. Okay. And now I'm 44 years old.
You've
Um,
never been this yoked? Like you
no,
were.
no, dude, I lost 100 pounds.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
No,
I think you posted a picture of it at one point, didn't you? Like
yeah.
before 75
There's one
hard.
on my Facebook, my
Hmm.
personal Facebook, because I have a couple for the businesses, but my personal Facebook, Anthony Mann Jr., there's a before and after of me, and it's incredible.
And
Um,
I remember seeing it. I didn't even recognize you. And this wasn't that long ago, too. So 2020, 2021 or so, right when you start the first 75 hard, were you skeptical? Did you just jump into it head first? Or what was your mindset behind that?
I ordered the book, and I started reading in the book. And right in the book, it says, "Don't wait till Monday. Start tomorrow." So I started tomorrow,
Wow.
and I am on. This is I've completed 8 rounds of 75 hard. I've completed 5 rounds of phase one, 5 rounds of phase two, and
Yeah.
2 rounds of phase three. So I'm on my third year of Live Hard right now,
Wow.
which is
Wow.
so 75 hard is only 75 days. Live Hard
Yeah.
is 75 hard, phase one, phase two, phase three. So I'm on day 11, I think, of phase one right now for the year.
Wow. What do you think has been the most difficult piece? And maybe what do you think it was the most difficult in the early days for you to kind of get rid of or take in?
The first was the diet and the water. I never dieted before, so this was all new to me. And I used to drink a 6 pack of Pepsi a day. So drinking a gallon of water from that was very difficult. So I'm there
Oh
12
my
o'clock at
gosh.
night, with this much left in my gallon, and I'm trying to. Now I have my gallon done by 3 o'clock. I'm on a number two. So
Wow.
yeah, it's and I travel a lot. Last
Yeah.
June I was doing phase three, and I was in the hotels for 22 nights of the month.
Wow. Okay. So tell me, because I know a little bit about the phases, but I've
Okay.
never done it myself. I've done 75 hard. This is my second time right now. What is exactly phase
Welcome to the
one, phase
club.
two, and phase three?
Okay, so there's 3 phases. It all complete when you complete them, you complete the Live Hard program. So phase one, you can start anytime. You can do it the next day, day 76. It adds a couple tasks from your normal list of 75. So in addition to that, you have to do 3 more power list tasks. Something that's going to improve your life, something that's going to improve your business, something you want to make a habit in your life. So if you want a new habit, one of mine is foam rolling. So every morning I
Uh,
foam roll for 5 minutes. Um, you know, uh, One of them is I've gotten off my vitamins. So it's, what?
mhm.
Take your vitamins every morning. So this is a checklist to keep me accountable. And sometimes it's send 1 or send 5 emails out to new, potential clients. You work it on if you want it for your business or if you want it for yourself. Um,
Yeah.
and then it adds a 5 minute cold shower, which is very difficult. When I'm
That
in Florida,
5 minutes is a long time.
yeah, and when I'm in Florida, totally different story. I have to actually
Yeah.
take an like a colander and put ice cubes in it and hang it from the shower head to get it cold enough so I feel like I'm legitimately doing it.
Mm,
Yep. Up here we're well water, so it's cold.
it's cold. It's
Yeah.
cold.
Yep. And then it adds 10 minutes of visualization. So it's
Okay.
teaching you visualization techniques that are, trying to visualize the future of what who you want to become, what you want your business to become. Manifesting, and it's such a powerful tool. Nobody really, people that have never used it don't realize how powerful it is. So, phase 2, you have to wait 30 days from phase 1 to phase 3 when you complete it. He wants you, the creator, Andy Frisella, wants you to fall back. He wants you to stay on track and keep doing it. But it's like a test to you. Can you stay strong? So when I go between phase 1 and 2, I do something hashtag no days off. And I post a picture every day to hold myself accountable when I'm not in that phase. So phase 2 is just the same as 75 hard. It's actually, people say it's the easiest. I think it's the hardest because your mind, unless you're dialed in your mindset, you think it's the easiest one. And then at the end of the day, you forgot to do something.
Wow. I mean, and then with phase 3, is there another break in between, or do you roll right into that?
So you can't start phase 3 until 30 days before you started 75 hard originally. You're ending on the day you started.
Wow.
So it makes or the day before. So it makes it 1-year program. Phase 3 adds the shower again. It adds the visualization, the extra tasks, talking to a stranger for 5 minutes. Try doing that during a nor'easter when you're in a truck for 36 hours.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting out in parking lots and walking around buildings to get your workouts in the middle of a snowstorm so you can keep going. Luckily enough, I built a gym 2 years ago, and I was plowing it so I could just plow, go in, get a workout in, and I go there at like 12:01. So it was the next day, and I could get my first workout in from the day. But that's, everybody's like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this. This program, if you do it right and use it right, you'll have more time in your day than you've ever had, and you will be so much more productive.
So much of it is your mental discipline, isn't it? It's not a physical workout program. It's what does he say?
A mental toughness program.
Yeah.
And whoever calls it a challenge, I want to slap, because it is not a challenge. It is a program.
Yeah, and nobody wants to be slapped by you, so don't call it a challenge, everyone. So Anthony, I'm curious too. Did you drink alcohol before starting 75 hard?
I did. I wasn't, when I was younger, like high school, college, I drank a lot. When I was older, I did, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, but lately, no. Like leading into that, I mean, it was weekend socially, and I still now, like when I'm off the program, I will drink socially. But I have very good discipline, and I do 75 hard always through the holidays. So Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, I want to be on the program. I finished this year the day before New Year's because I was going to Florida to Miami, and I wanted to go out for New Year's.
Gotcha. Yeah, what I've done too, and this has really helped, and for anyone listening, this might be a good idea. I've tied in my business goals with giving up drinking, because I would say I'm very similar, Anthony, where I like to have a beer or a glass of whiskey here and there. And if I don't hit my goals, I have to give up drinking until I hit my goals. And usually, yeah, because it's almost a frustration and a challenge, different challenge with yourself of, I got to hit these goals. And if I don't, something is taken away. And it's not that you have this obsession or this idolization with alcohol, but it's more of just, you take that freedom away. And
I love that. That is such a great way to structure a goal.
Yeah. And then usually what we do too is if I miss my goal and I'm already giving up drinking, I'm like, might as well start 75 hard right now. And then that kind of gets into the other habits and the other things that you're building as well. So yeah, I'm currently on day 19. By the time this episode launches, it'll be in somewhere in the 30s. So
it's amazing how many people in this community are doing the program though.
Yeah.
We have a lot of friends that are doing the program or have done it. Do you know Jordan Smith from Storm Equipment?
Oh yeah, of course I do.
Okay. So Jordan came to me a couple of years ago and he's like, what's this program you're doing? And I'm like, 75 hard, So he's like, dude, I've watched you over the last 3 years. Like, give it to me. So I gave him the program, showed him the program. He ran the play. I don't know if you've seen him lately.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
look sharp, man.
So funny story with Jordan, and he also posted a transformation. He is unrecognizable in the best way, and I just his testament to the program and to just taking control of your life is incredible. So before the Dirtbags podcast, and I mentioned this a couple episodes ago at a podcast called Phaser Friday, and I would just interview business owners and entrepreneurs, and Jordan and I both went to Mankato, and so up in Minnesota. And so I had him on before I'd even met him, before all the snow job stuff, and had him on like this old episode. So we always kind of joke about that, how different it was back then. This is before he sold his company and
Yeah.
all that. So it,
Wow.
it's been really cool though. And I think part of that too is this world is so small. Like we all do know each other in this industry. And to your point too, I have two big group messages going. One group message is from guys at the wet show that I went with. We're all doing 75 hard. So we're all in that group message. And then a second is with guys like James Doyle, and a bunch of other
Doyle,
guys. Yeah. And a bunch of other guys in the industry. And it's just really these accountability groups. But to your point, there's a lot of
you
people
might have
doing
to
the
add a
program.
number into that one.
Yeah, absolutely. We slap some people around here.
Yeah.
Uh, no,
No,
I
Mr.
love
Doyle,
it.
me and James are good friends. He's also in Arate Syndicate with me. It's our coaching
Gotcha.
group there. And so getting back to Jordan, I told him
Yep.
about the program. He started 75 hard. Then he asked me about Arate. And I wrote, I made a phone call, got him in. So now he's part of that group. And he has said what a difference that has made for him
Yeah.
for his business career. So it was really cool to be able to introduce him to some things and watch, because somebody like Jordan is a different mindset than other people. When he does something, it's 100x when everybody else is doing it 10x. Like he's
Yeah.
just at a different level than anybody else.
Yeah. So when you say Arete, and that's spelled Arete for people listening, what he's got the shirt on, love it.
Yeah.
What does
RJ
that
Syndicate.
mean? Yeah, Arete Syndicate.
So it means excellence is the Greek mythology of it. It's a program, it's a mentorship group by Andy Frisella, who has First Form, and Ed Milet, who is just a crazy entrepreneur badass.
Great voice
Um,
too.
yeah, so those two are the ones that jump started that 706% growth for me. The second year, I did over 400% growth.
Wow.
And yeah, so those two have had an instrumental part in my life. Um, they've changed the way I look at my business, the way I do business. I didn't know what culture was
Mm,
before I joined this group, and the first call we had was on culture, and I'm still working on that first lesson I learned in the group almost 5 years later. So
wow. So
yeah,
you've been in the group for 5 years now, and I talked about this at one of our live shows at MSTA actually, about the importance of not only having a mentor and a coach, but having a mentor and a coach that you pay for. If you don't mind giving your thoughts on that, of just like that skin in the game that you have, but also what you can get from having a true coach or a mentor in your business.
the first rule before you go out and hire a business coach is make sure he actually built something himself. He's not one of these
Yes.
guys on the internet running around selling a course, selling a program.
Yes.
Do your due diligence and see what they've built. Have they built a business? Have they built anything? You
Have they made
90% of
payroll?
these
Like,
guys out there haven't. So
yeah.
so that's the first word of advice. Find someone who aligns with your vision and your culture and your values. Andy resonates with me.
Right.
He has helped me with a lot of things. I've gone to him with personal questions, and you know, wasn't business, that was family, and he was there for me to help me out. Um, you know, it, Getting yourself around these people when you pay to get into that group, it holds you accountable, makes you show up. The skin in the game, like you said. If you don't, you're just gonna, take on it half-lax, days ago, and you're not gonna
Yeah.
get what you need. And some of these coaches aren't cheap, but they're worth every penny you're gonna pay them. I was when I first joined that group, we were just before this growth, so I was scared of that monthly payment. Uh,
Hmm.
Now I don't even it doesn't even cross my mind as a, an expense. It's built right into my budget
Yeah.
with our
Yeah.
software. So it's
And with that, that's another great lesson too. And we, coach all of our clients on this is instead of thinking things in a monthly term, zoom out a little bit and look at the yearly budget. So if it's 1900 a month, then zoom out and say it's 23K a year. And because usually with a coaching program or mentorship program or a lot of things, you want to give it the time if you're going to commit to it. Even like a CRM is another great example. Zoom out and say, we're going to commit to this thing. We're going to give it our time and energy and resources, but we need to commit the time to it as well. So instead of looking at the monthly so closely, zoom out and look at your annual budget and stick that number in. And then it's a lot easier to plan for that way.
yeah. So and then I guess we got off a little bit of topic here because I haven't even got to the third company yet.
Oh, dude, so that was Hardscape Mastery,
Yep.
Anthony Group Hardscapes, and
Yep.
we'll definitely come back to those as well. But then we've got Anthony Winter Service.
So it's another passion of mine, snow. I've been doing it since I was a little kid.
Like, yeah.
I learned in like a 1970s Dodge Power Wagon with a homemade plow on it. And, so I I love it. I got pictures of me when I was like 16 working on the truck and,
Yeah.
out there plowing and the snow piles were 10 times what we see today. But no, we're a commercial snow and ice management company. We service 3 states. So we're New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania. We go all the way out to the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre area, all the way into North Jersey, and then kind of that lower couple counties of New York that border up to Pennsylvania and New York.
Yep. Yep.
So,
And then, so, because is that all billed separately from Anthony Group Hardscapes? Like those are two totally separate companies?
they're totally two separate companies now. When I
Okay.
started, I just did snow plowing. It was one of
Yeah.
our services with Anthony Group. And then as we started to grow, we decided to separate the two companies, put equipment in different names, lease to other companies,
Right.
protect some liabilities. The snow industry, as everybody knows, the liabilities are just freaking horrible. And they're all put down on the contract. So,
Right.
but I love the snow industry. I still get in that truck and go out and plow. I go out and pre-treat, post-treat. I'm usually the guy that drives around afterwards and just makes sure everything is done, do the final check. Last year, I laid in bed in Florida or on the beach last year, running everything from my phone. Actually, I shouldn't say laying on the beach. During the day, I was working down there because we're trying to get a division going down there. But at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm laying in bed and I'm managing the whole snow operation from my phone.
Wow.
And then during the day, I was out trying to get the other company, the division of Anthony Group. We're going to be doing a location down in Florida.
What is the deal with the Florida location? I was going to ask you about that. What's the tie to Florida?
I have family there. I've been going there since I was 3.
Gotcha.
There is a lot of work down there. I'm going to retire down there eventually. And down there is all going to be subcontracted work. We are going to be a project management design services down there. And then we'll just sub the work out and manage it, make sure it's done right. And that's with Hardscape Mastery. I'm doing the same thing. So with some of these young guys that have never done a huge project, they put a front sidewalk in, a little back patio, but now that they get a call from one of their family members or client, they did a front sidewalk. Hey, we're putting a pool in. Do you want to bid on this project? And they're like, oh, this could be the biggest job of my life. Oh my God, how am I going to do? I don't know how to do that. So what we do is we come in on the early phases. We help design it, price it, sell it, and then we go out and we project management. So they can be anywhere 50 states. We will fly out the first day, lay everything out with you, and give you a roadmap for the next steps. Got to do this. Put your sleeve here. Don't forget it before you start putting, your stone and your materials in. Concrete footing for your kitchen's going over here, but you got to have the gas line. Make sure they're giving them the sequence. They don't want to get to the end and say, oh shit, we forgot to run the gas line to the fire pit. You know what I mean?
Right,
so this is all the stuff we're going to work. Now, we'll leave They can FaceTime me. I'm actually
Hmm.
in the process of hiring another guy. He's got 31 years experience in the hardscape industry to come on as one of, if I can't make it out to site, he can get out there. He's also going to help with Anthony Group, running, he'll be one of the managers for that company. But he's just got the experience and he wants to teach and he wants to help younger guys. So he
Oh, I
fits
love
the
it.
mold of that company very well. But yeah, that's the plan, is just go out and help these young guys, help them succeed. There was nobody teaching me. I
Hmm.
learned from masons how to do pavers because they were brand new. The first line came off in '89 in Jersey, in North Jersey. Um, and the owner of the company put him in his house. The president of the company put him in his house, and my father had the next batch. And they were all very close friends. He, we were, okay, no saws. We were making, so it was basket weave or herringbone. And then you took a chisel to cut one in half and put it in.
Oh,
Yeah. So that's how I learned how to do this. Now we got dustless saws. We've got,
yeah.
the technology, vacuums picking this stuff up. I mean, it's crazy. And those pavers are still around that pool from
Wow.
'89 to now, however many years ago that was. I'm not great with
Yeah, let's see. It's
math.
40, 30, 36 years or so.
Yeah. So that's how long I've got in the industry.
Man, that is so with Hardscape Mastery, that I didn't realize that you could do all 50 states and you'd fly out. And because I don't think, and maybe a lot of people listening do realize the value of that, of just not knowing what you don't know. And there's a big project coming up, and just having that roadmap, all you need to do is follow the roadmap.
Yeah,
And you mentioned that
absolutely.
earlier. You mentioned that earlier. Get the play and run it. I mean,
Yes.
I love that so much.
Listen, in anything, it could be in doing a job, it could be in your health and fitness, it could be in your relationship. Take the play, get the play from somebody who's done it successfully, and go out and run it. And everything is going to work. So,
And
listen, the way we're doing this is we're putting our price right in as a percentage when we're doing the estimate. So, because
yeah.
we're even going to help these companies figure out their budget, because we can't do an
Hmm.
estimate without the budget. So, this way, at least I can get these guys dialed in on, and I put my fee in there. The contractor now isn't like, it doesn't cost him anything. It's built into the job, and it's a learning
Gotcha.
experience for him. And some of these clients might like that this young guy, hey, you know what? I've got this mentor helping me for this project. That might help him sell that to that client that's just on the fence of whether to use him. Oh, he's a good kid. He did a great job on my front sidewalk, but this project might be a little too big for him. Well, now he's got the
Right.
confidence to say to that client, I got this. And when he goes in with
And
that
like,
confidence, he's got the job.
absolutely. And don't hide that you're working with this mentor, because that should instill confidence in the client. And I love that too. I didn't realize your fee is worked into that contract too. So if they get the job, it's not like they're paying out of their pocket necessarily. And you said something too that I think is a huge part of business that is often missed, but knowing your numbers, the budgeting. And so I want you to dive into that a bit more here and how important that is. And for people listening, go give Anthony a follow at Anthony Group Hardscapes on Instagram. Make sure you shoot him a message, let him know you're listening to the episode. Let him know if you have any questions. That's the best place I would say to get a hold
I
of
will
you.
help anybody in this industry. All you have to do is DM me.
Heck yeah,
I will. And
easy
listen,
as that.
you have a simple question. I'm not here to make money on this. This is
Yeah,
my philanthropy project. This is to help people. I am working with 7 or 8 guys now. I'm not even charging them. Yes, it's a
yeah.
business, and the business part will get there. But right now, it's about giving back to this industry that I love and helping these younger guys. You guys got a question? Call me, text me. My phone number is on my Instagram, my cell phone. You want to get a hold of me? Go
Yeah.
to my Instagram. So very transparent.
Absolutely love it. So if you guys are listening, go give him a follow. Anthony Group Hardscapes. Shoot him a message. Let him know you're listening to the episode right now. But I want you to dive in a bit more on knowing your numbers and budgeting, because often I feel like this is what's missed is a business owner may be great at the trade, but falls short in the business end of things. And in the earlier days of the business, you don't notice it as much. It's fine. But as the business grows and as you scale, if you don't mind talking about the importance of that,
You just nailed it. When you're small, it doesn't matter. I don't
right?
know how many years I went with what people were doing. And I mean, I think when we first started doing pavers, we were $8 a square foot installed, 30 something years ago. Um, now we're a lot more than that now. But and it went up over the years, and we didn't know what we were making on each job. We didn't know what jobs were profitable. We weren't able to dial in and say, hey, we just want to do full jobs, because there are, that's where we're making the most profit. Or, a 10 by 10 patio and it's just easy cookie cutter McDonald's, we didn't know what was making money and what wasn't. So once I got the business coaching, I started to learn, and I kept hearing this word, software, software. What the hell's a
Mhm.
hardscaper excavator need freaking software for? Well, let me tell you what. Weston at Synced Up,
Yes.
he
Yes.
has got one heck of a program out there for anybody. And it's not just for hardscapers, other industries can use it. Um, I was with another company before him, but then I met him at a show and he was dialed in on the hardscape, and that's
Hmm.
his background. Really liked him and where he came from. So the culture that he was building, he's another 75 hard guy.
Yeah,
So,
man. I tell you what, Synced Up and Weston is the unofficial official sponsor of the Turpex podcast.
oh,
Like
okay, perfect.
I love them so much. They lead with so much value. Like Weston's podcast that he's doing, his presentations at these events, the know your numbers, like everything he does, he leads with so much value. And I always say this too, like I'm a resource first and a marketing agency second. And he embodies that. He is a resource first always. And then he's got this very powerful CRM called Synced Up, and a software that can truly help anyone in the hardscape and landscape industry know their numbers, understand their numbers. And I would love to hear more of how that brought you from essentially like not being in the dark probably to where it
Well,
brought
we
you today.
we used to bid by the square foot. Now
Yeah,
every job is broke down. And listen, it wasn't easy for somebody like me who's doesn't. I'm not very technically inclined. I
sure.
do everything from my cell phone. I'm not a I have. It was hard for me to buy into at first, but it was the best thing we did because they had one of the guys, Fred, got on with us. We set up our budget. Once that budget was set up, then we started setting up some templates and putting our labor cost in there with our markups on it. So now, as long as I can get the labor hours right, we're profitable on every job.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
And be able to see a report and show that we're profitable and say, hey, you know what? We made 30% on this job and 10 on this. Let's
Mhm.
try not to do those jobs, or when we bid it, we're going to raise our labor rate or our labor hours on it to cover.
Right.
So it
Right. And
opens your eyes to the whole business, and it makes sure that you've got money in the bank.
you know what I think it does as well as the business owner? It makes your job just a little bit easier. Your job as the business owner is so difficult. There's so many decisions you need to make on a daily basis. But if you can make a decision and you see there's 30% profit margin on these types of jobs, and there's 10% profit margin at these jobs, a lot of times what I've noticed is the 10% profit margin jobs are also bigger headaches or more fires. And you're like, wait, why aren't we doing more of these? And so it can really help you answer a lot of these questions that you have, but it makes it a lot easier. So uh, I guess my biggest advice on that is find an industry related software that knows the
Yes.
industry, knows what they're talking about. And there's a lot of great CRMs out there. HubSpot is one, and Go High Level, and all these ones. But if you don't have the person to talk to that doesn't know the industry or hasn't built it based off that industry, Jobber's another good one too, where it's like, yeah, it's kind of built for those service based industries. But Synced Up, I would say, takes it a few steps further when it comes to taking it very serious in the hardscape and landscape industry.
And listen, Weston's is helping change the culture in
Hmm.
in the hardscape industry. He is a driving force between getting contractors profitable, and if that just makes the industry better. You
Yeah.
know, thank you, Weston.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Weston and the whole team at Synced Up. That is SYNKED up. thing. Yeah, go check them out on Instagram. They're incredible. He's been on the Dirtbags podcast. He's got an older episode, and then I was on their show as well. So we've definitely a great guy. I know he's out at all these shows as well. So if you see him, go let him know that you
I'll
listen
see
to
him
him.
next week. He'll be up at
Oh,
the
next week?
Northeast Hardscape Expo up in Connecticut next week.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, tell him I said hi, and
I
excited to
will.
hear back how that show is.
Absolutely.
Oh man. So I want to pivot a little bit here. So we got a good taste of, your businesses. You've done so much. You truly changed your life with your mindset, joining this 75 hard and live hard. I mean, you're living hard for this entire year at a time. So of course, we talked about getting the play and run it. I want to pivot a little bit. As I was talking to you, you did mention 9/11, and the impact that that has had and did have on your life. Tell me a little bit more. Were you at where were you when 9/11 happened, and what were you doing during that time?
All right. This gets a little emotional for me. Just
Hmm.
I was in Jersey City on the waterfront. I don't know if it was kind of a landmark where the Colgate clock was. I was working, so this was a little hiatus I had from business. So when I started my
Yeah,
businesses, I started in like middle school, cutting the
yeah,
neighbors' yards. When I was 22, I got out of college, went to school for landscape design and construction management. I got out of college, and my dad, there was an opportunity for me to get into the union as an operating engineer. I
gotcha.
I, I took it, worked there for a couple of years, ended up becoming a crane operator and a shop steward, safety coordinator. And I was standing on my crane with the owner of the crane company, right at the water. I mean, literally a couple hundred yards from the towers. And we watched the first plane come down and hit the towers. Um, and the radio started saying, "Oh, it was a little prop plane." And I looked at Joe and I said, "No, that was a jet." And a couple minutes later, we're kind of all standing there, and the next one came right over our job site. You could read, you could see everything. And we just watched that just go right to it. Our job site to the left of us, there was a ferry launch. They came over, all the ferries, police boats, they were all bringing survivors over and laying them out there, making a triage center. We jumped, you know, a bunch of iron workers, a bunch of the engineers, whatever, people from all the trades, a couple carpenters, some of the real true Americans. We jumped on
Hmm.
the first state police boat and went over to the city. And I spent 3.5 months there before they told us we had to leave. And then I worked another 2 months in Jersey City, running a crane loading the Coast Guard vessel. Um, I was honored by Jersey City Police Department, commissioned to build a 9/11 memorial on the Jersey City waterfront. It's an iconic picture that people take with the new Freedom Tower in the background. One person from every trade from our job was asked to help out, and that was one of the best jobs I ever did, was building that memorial. Um, that was some of the toughest. One of the biggest memories I have over there was the second day. I think I was shot. I had worked all day. I had like an 18-hour shift, and this was volunteering. I wasn't getting, I was getting paid from where I was working, my other company that I was working for, but they said, "Go, anybody working over there, we're going to." So it wasn't like we were there to help. But we'd pick a car up and there'd be a body. It was tough. I decided to take a walk. I walked up Church Street, and a priest grabbed me and laid me down and just took a bottle of water and washed. I just remember all the soot and ash. There really weren't any masks yet. A lot of people had T-shirts over their faces. It was horrific, and I was honored to build that memorial. And then in 2021, I was asked to build a 9/11 this memorial, 20-year memorial in Delaware Township, Pennsylvania, just over the bridge from New Jersey. One of my supply houses, Athenia Mason, I get all our pavers from, he was the chief of the fire department there. And he knew what
Hmm.
9/11 meant to me. And he said, "Hey, would you be interested in, coming here and helping us out?" And I jumped on that opportunity.
Uh,
You know, it was an amazing project. My son So he was probably he just was getting into the business like full time. He sent me a text the one day and he said, "Hey Dad, can I come work on that job just for one day so I can say I was part of it?" So he came and he stayed the rest of the job because I wanted him to see how much that meant to me. So, but yeah, it's been tough. Thank the Lord, I've not had any effects from working there. I get tested, get scans on my chest and everything. And I was sick for about 12 years after. Every day I would get sick in the morning when I woke up. One day it just went away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, what a powerful story, but a powerful honor to build the memorial and to go out there and just like you said, just jump on it right away. And yeah, like what does it mean to be an American to you? And what does it mean to live in this country?
Being American, I mean, that's got to be one of the proudest rights we could have as a citizen. Um, I mean, I feel it just means to be free. It means to. And I feel the word like American. I feel like power. That. And I don't. Especially in today, I don't want to be anything but an American. I'm proud of this country. I never served in our military, but I feel like
Mm.
at 9/11, I served our country. Um, my father was a vet, so that the military means a lot to me. I back the blue. It's a it's an honor to be here, but we also need to respect it. And a lot of people aren't respecting it right now, or haven't been for the last years. Luckily, we've turned that around as a country. We came together and we made the decision as the citizens to make the change by instilling the right people. And now it's time for us, to take this back and make it the America that it used to be. You think back to the industrial ages. I mean, that was the time to be an American. I wish I could have grown up in that age. But yeah, no, that's to me, it's just about honor.
Yeah, and what a blessing it is, right? That we just get this opportunity. We're just woke up one day, we're born, and we live in this beautiful country. We get to run create and start these businesses in this country and prosper. And just the opportunity that that provides, I think, as an entrepreneur, is sometimes lost. We look at all the other distractions and all the other hardships, and we let those weigh us down. But I think we forget the gratitude of this opportunity to start a business, to run a business, and to grow a business like you have, and so many others that are listening have.
And the in the real America, the entrepreneurs are the ones out there doing it. You have a lot of guys that'll just go and put a name tag on their door. Um, but you know who the real ones are, the ones that are putting the work in, the ones that are running the play, the ones that want it. They want that American dream. And that's badass. But just putting a thing up on a door saying, "Hey, ABC company CEO, you know, who the fuck are you? Go do something.
Yeah.
Go build something. Make something out of your life."
And you're always going to have, it's just always, every day is going to be a roller coaster, but just know that you are so blessed. You're so far ahead already, and not you specifically, but us in this country. You're so far ahead. And even I was thinking about this the other day when we're on 75 hard, and I complain about it too sometimes, but drinking the gallon of water, like, we have fresh drinking water to drink, and just trying to restructure your mindset of, instead of me fixating and complaining about I have to drink a gallon of water, how about, hey, I can go anywhere right now in this state, in this city, and fill up my water anywhere and drink it, and it is safe for me to drink. And like, what a privilege that is, that we don't understand we have until we leave this country.
No, it's we're blessed. We're blessed. There's a lot of unfortunate people out there and a lot of unfortunate countries. Like you said, they don't have the water. In 75 Hard, the owner, Andy, he owns First Form. They do so much to give back. They go and drill wells over in some of these, poorer countries to help these kids that don't. They do a program called 30 for the Kids where they donate money
Hmm.
to these, unfortunate children. So it's great to see that we're able to do that as well. We're able to make money, but we also now, the power of an entrepreneur is to go back now and help other people. And even if they're not in our country and we're going over, but we're helping somebody that's underprivileged.
Yeah, I love it. As we were looking at your businesses, we've got Anthony Group Hardscapes, Anthony Winter Service, Hardscape Mastery. There's so much servitude that goes in there. You're just being a steward of these businesses. Have there been any things you've done specifically to make an effort to give back? Any sort of things you're looking to do in the future? Like, what are some goals and visions there for the legacy, but also continuing to give back as we're talking about?
No, we do a lot of local donating.
Hmm.
We try and keep our stuff local.
Good.
I for years I was a very big supporter of a cause called Ginny's House, which was a safe house for abused women to go
Mhm.
to. And they'd have an auction every year, formal, auction gala, and I would donate a fire pit install every year for that. That gave them money to help the women in our community that needed it. Um, there was there's a couple other these smaller ones. A lot of them have to do with kids. I like to give. We have
Oh,
a park in the town. We went and donated all the paving stones, did all the work in the park for the kids. We do the baseball fields. We take them from 4660 to 5070, make them bigger. When I was coaching, I went and cut the grass and fertilized the fields so that these kids could play on a nice straight striped diamond field and not just the
yeah.
maintenance man going like this. So a
Yeah.
lot of the stuff we do is for the kids. One of the ones that I am going to start is going to be the Children's Cancer Hospital.
Hmm.
One of my, he was a mentor and I didn't even know it because I didn't know how to take it. I was younger. And guy said to me, whenever you're having a bad day, whenever you think it's bad, think about the family that's got their child in the cancer center. And now, whenever I'm, my God, it's oh my, you have one of those days. It could be a lot freaking worse. And that's
Hmm.
how we have to think. And now that's something that I want to start doing more with. We've done a little bit, but I know I can do more.
Yeah. And you can inspire others to do more for that cause as well. And to this point too, when you get that started, let me know and let anyone in the industry know how they can help, because I know we would love to pitch in and help out for that, because that it takes a village. It's not just going to be one person. It's not just going to be one business. But and that's what I think is so cool about this industry, is how giving everyone is. And sometimes it just takes that opportunity in that channel for somebody to say, "Hey, I've got this opportunity. All I need is some of you guys to chip in if you want, but here's
You
the
do it with
opportunity."
you do it with the Boys and Girls Club, right? You
Yep,
have your
yep. Yeah, so we've got our phaser fundraiser. We've now raised $100,000 in the last 4 years, and it's just, but the great part is we don't have $100,000 check to write them, right? And this is raised from people in the construction industry that have never been to my hometown. This is raised from people, locals in the community. This is raised from people that don't even know who we are, but they see the mission and they say, "Man, that's pretty cool. You guys are doing that. How can I participate?" I'm like, Venmo, check. I can send you an invoice, like whatever
yeah,
it is, and you just know that it's going to a great place and a great
that is
cause. And
awesome.
man, and another, and all as we get closer to it too, we'll set the date. It's a phaser fundraiser black tie gala, and we're going to go around the industry again and ask for sponsorships. And this is the craziest thing, man. So I think we had 18 sponsors last year, and 12 of them were in the construction industry, and 10 of them had never even been to my hometown. And so just showing you that they weren't going to be there, they've never been there, they don't know who these kids are or who this organization is, but they want to help out and support. So that alone, if somebody is listening that has wanted to set something up, maybe set up a scholarship for the trades, maybe set up something for their local Boys and Girls Club, just set it up and ask for help. And I guarantee you, whether you ask me, whether you ask somebody else that's in this community, people will step up.
I wanted to do something. I mean, there's a lot of the guys and women in our community that are doing 75 hard. I would
Mhm.
love to put something together where we say, hey, on this date, we're all going to start 75 hard. Every day you complete it, you put $1 into the kitty. If you make it 75 days, whatever organization gets the 75, or they get 20 if you only get 20 days. But
Yeah.
every day you put something in. Um, you're going to improve your mindset, you're going to improve your health, and you're going to help a good cause. And we do this as a big, big group. I think that that would be like a really cool, kick-ass way to raise some money for some kids.
Oh man, you're getting me fired up right now. So as because this is so I love it. This is a great idea. This episode will launch March 28th for reference. What date are we looking at starting this? Just so people listening,
Well,
because
there's a
they'll
lot of guys doing it right now.
yeah.
Like I know about 15 guys in the industry, they're actually currently on the program. So
Mhm.
I'm thinking this is something we have to schedule out maybe, right after the summer. And maybe we start
Holidays.
in like when is your gala?
So gala would be in October,
So let's go
likely.
75 days before the gala.
Yeah.
We end the day before the gala. And all that money goes
Or
into your charity.
that is a brilliant idea. So, gosh, I love that. Do a huge group. We all do 75 hard. The once we get the start date, we'll do 75 days before that, and the final day, all that money will go into it.
And we can all
Man,
celebrate with the drink on the 76th day
heck yeah.
and
We'll have
eat
to make
whatever
sure
we want.
we'll have to make sure we do the math right so that it's the 76th day. We can have a drink, we can eat whatever we want,
Yep.
and celebrate because that money would go to the kids and to that next generation and truly
And I
help
think
out.
waiting a little bit is going to be good. I think we'll get more people if we put this out there and say, hey, guys, don't, if you're doing it, and if you're already in it, you can still donate. You don't have to be on the same day as everybody, and
Yeah.
I'll put this out in my community that we're doing, the 75 hard community. It's amazing how big of a community is out there for this. They say only 1% of the people that do it finish with zero
Wow.
compromise. A lot of people finish it,
Yeah.
but how many people do it to the T? People say to me, they're like, how do you take this so serious? I said, because if you want to fucking win, you got to be serious. I said, you're not
Good.
going to win if you cheat. If you cheat a couple ounces, or I read 9 pages, like
Yeah.
you're just cheating yourself. You're not going to win. Do it zero compromise. I am so dedicated to it. People think I'm fucking crazy,
Gosh, I love it. This is
but it's life changing. It's been freaking life changing. Business,
and look at
personal, health, looks. 208 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal now, bro.
oh my gosh, I love it, dude. So yeah, I mean, you nail it. The physical transformation, the mental transformation, the business transformation. And somebody asked me the other day, like what they think was what if they want to improve their business, what should they work on first? I said, work on yourself. And when you start working
100%,
on
man.
yourself, and because people, a lot of us, and myself included, sometimes is we think we need to start working on the business. We need to focus on that. We need to focus on that. But until you have your personal life dialed in and you have those routines and you have those habits dialed in, that will translate over into your business. So if your business is struggling, look at your personal life first and ask yourself, is this where I want to be? And is this what's going to translate to a successful business?
Nailed it. I
Hey,
mean,
you
absolutely
helped me with
nailed it.
that one.
I mean, listen, you get your mind right and you can do anything you fucking want. Anything. Dial in. Well,
Dial in,
you don't think Elon's got a
get the
mindset like
play and
no
run
other?
it.
I'd love to be in that man's head for 5 minutes,
Yeah, yeah,
and learn a little bit of the mindset from him. You know, got high performers. If you want to become a high performer, you need to dial yourself in. Listen, Michael Jordan, best basketball player ever. He didn't just go out on the court and dribble around and shoot. You know what I mean? He practiced and he practiced and he trained. He trained harder than anybody else out there because he wanted to win. Run the play.
get the play and run it. Run the play, guys. Oh man. So Anthony, so I've got a couple more things I want to ask you. We're going to go into our book recommendation, but before that, because every episode I like to, ask the guests, what books do you recommend? Super excited to hear what you say on that. But before that, I had another one pop up in my head that I really want to get your advice on. Uh, I love everything you've done with the coaching, all the things you've learned, this mindset that you have. But so much of it comes to leadership. And if you could give a piece, and maybe we'll structure it this way, if you could go back and tell your younger self when you're starting the business a piece of leadership advice. Let's say you're just getting started out. Maybe you're in it for a few years. Maybe it's in your rough patch. What type of leadership advice would you give your younger self?
Do what you say you're going to do. It's something I learned when I first started. If you say you're going to be there 5:30 for an estimate, be there 5:25. If you say that you're going to do this project by a certain date, okay, yeah, weather happens. We get that. But do the best you can to get that project done. Don't overpromise. Underpromise, overdeliver.
I love
Um,
it.
uh, you know, do the right thing. Do your work, whatever it is. If you're putting a septic in, if you're putting a patio in, do it right. There's too many guys out there taking these jobs and not doing them right. We went on a project. They literally scraped the freaking grass off of the dirt, put an inch of stone dust down, and laid fucking pavers on it, and charged these people money. How? Like, do what you're supposed to do. Do things to industry standards. Um, get yourself a business coach, a mentor. They're everywhere now. Make sure you get the right one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that'll jump from coach to coach to coach. I'm still with the first coach, two coaches I hired, Ed and Andy, and
Yeah.
I'm still with Brian Hess from the top contractor school.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I love Brian.
He's so
Absolutely
awesome.
love Brian. He has helped me. So Arate is business fundamentals.
Yep.
It's business, diving deep in, becoming the best version of yourself as an entrepreneur and as a businessman. Brian dials into the construction, but Brian is all about being the best person you can be, doing the right thing. He's one of the most humble guys I've ever met. Um,
Yeah.
he is so about giving back to the community. He is so about the industry. He's got the most amazing. He's a role model father.
Yeah.
His kids are. I love his kids. His parents. I mean, the whole family. Like he's what was that show with the Cleavers? He Wally and Leave It to Beaver. He's like the father of Leave It to Beaver. Mister, everything
Yeah.
he does is but he has fun doing it and he's fun to be around. So
Yeah. I had the opportunity to meet him at Pavex this year,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I was walking by. I was walking outside. I was actually on one of my workouts, and I saw him in there, and I just waved like I pretended like I knew him, and so he kind of waved back, and I was with my wife Olivia, and I was like, she's like, "Who was that?" I'm like, "His name's Brian. He doesn't know who I am, but when I see him later, like he'll recognize my face because I waved at him." And sure enough, I saw him later. And I went up and talked to him, and just such a cool guy. And of course, I knew who he was through his podcast and everything he does, but very down to earth, just normal person, and really enjoyed talking with him. So I think I'll probably see him at World of Asphalt coming up here.
Yep.
But yeah, just I
We'll
think.
get him to jump on 75 hard too with that.
Oh heck yeah,
He loves to give back, especially to the kids. They do a lot of charity work. A lot of stuff in downtown Pittsburgh. They're all about their
yeah,
community out there. It's such a
yeah.
beautiful city. I go out to see him, 3-4 times a year.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah,
yeah.
we might be starting a division in Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh, watch out. Here we
Heck yeah,
come.
watch out, Pittsburgh. Yeah, the only thing
Pittsburgh,
with Brown.
Florida, we got some expansion. But this is what happens when you get
Yeah,
around the right people. There's another saying, get in the right room. If you're not in the right room, you're not going to grow. So you young guys, you don't want to be in the garage talking shit with your buddies, drinking beer about people. Get in the room where the guys are talking about building businesses and
yeah,
portfolios and what equipment they're buying. and what the new industry trend is. Go talk to those people. Learn. Don't be in the garage talking about other people drinking beer, because I've been there. It's not a good
Yeah,
place.
Anthony, one of my favorite quotes on that is show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
Mhm.
I just couldn't agree with it more. I've got so many wonderful friends, but the more you start to hone in on your core group and your inner circle of who I want to spend my most time with, it changes, and that's okay. And it's okay to change it, but you want those people to help elevate you and help you be the best man or woman that you can be. And I think when you look around, and you want to do it respectfully, of course, too. If somebody is not up to that caliber that you want to be spending time with. But also in that case, can you help lift them up? Can you get them on 75 hard? Can you start talking about business? Can you change the conversation? And you'll start to learn early on if that is going to stick or if it's just not going to work out. So definitely look at your inner circle, look at who you're spending the most time with. You're likely you're gonna have a lot of those core
Most of
values,
my friend,
honestly.
most of my friends now are across the country. I don't
Yeah.
have a lot of local friends anymore. Um, you know, Me and Mr. Doyle, 6:30, 7 o'clock on a
Thanks.
Sunday morning, he's calling me.
Yeah.
Hey man, I just wanted to talk through something with you, and those are the friends you want when they need something or they just need to vent, that you can
Yeah.
call or you can call them. Some of my best friends, and they're from top contractor school. They're from
Yeah.
RK. They're from the snow jobs, like the snow industry. Snow jobs
Hmm.
podcast. We talked about Weston like helping change the culture of the hardscape industry. The snow jobs podcast has changed the culture of the snow industry. They're
Hands down.
making they're making crazy waves with what's going on over there. Speaking of them, can we take a quick commercial break?
Yes. So this
75 hard, it's a lot of water.
this Dirtbags Pee Break is brought to you by the Snow Jobs podcast. So thank you, Steve and Jeremy, for we're gonna embed some music during this pee break, and so we're not gonna cut this out. But thank you to the Snow Jobs podcast for sponsoring this pee break. We'll be right back. Oh, that was perfect timing.
All right. Hey, pups.
Yeah, they made it up. They've been good this whole episode. All right. All right. Thank you, Steve and Jeremy, for sponsoring that pee break. I've only done that one other time, and it was a group podcast, and I kind of just snuck off and then came back. But yeah, when you're doing 75 hard, that gallon of water, especially doing a night show, it catches up to you.
I'm on number 8 though, so that's good. That's my gallon here when I finish.
Oh, so
So
you do them in the
I
six
number them.
16?
So if you see the top there, it's numbered. I had a gallon one time and I dropped it, and it was like 3/4 of the way through the day. I didn't know how much water is in it. Zero
Yeah.
compromise. I filled the gallon up and fucking drank it. So I'm not doing that again. So now I do these. I keep a case in my truck with a Sharpie. And this way,
Hmm.
I just all day long, I just mark them off. I get up first thing in the morning. I drink my first one. I get up, vitamins, and then
Yeah.
I do espresso, 3 shots of espresso with protein powder in it, and it tastes like a
Oh, really?
cappuccino with sugar and milk in it.
Wait, so say that again. It's 3 shots of espresso.
3 shots of espresso, and then I add a scoop of first form protein powder into it, like vanilla milkshake or ice cream sandwich. Gives it like it makes it like the texture, like it's got milk and sugar in it. It makes it a little sweet, but it's not. It's a healthy way of making your coffee
Huh.
really good in the morning, and you get flavors. You can get the cafe mocha. And they got all sorts of flavors. I do
Yeah,
the
I think
vanilla.
I use the salted caramel first form
Yep.
protein. And then do you take creatine?
I take creatine. I take my multivitamins,
Hmm.
creatine, and ignition with my. So it's a stack. It's a
Same.
healthy
Yeah.
carb. So that's my stack that I do, and then I take some of the fat burners sometimes. Everything I take is a
Okay.
first form product.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So because when I went like 3, 4 months ago, I was getting really back into working out, and I went to the nutrition shop, and they all recommended first form. I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to go with that, and so I got the creatine, the protein powder, and then the ignition, which that still didn't really make as much sense to me. But it essentially does it like ignite the protein so it
It
can.
ignites the protein, and it's a healthy carb. It's not
Okay,
good. So
gotcha.
you're getting your carbs out of that, but they're healthy carbs. So
Gotcha.
if you're doing, it's a good way to help dial in on your macros. If you're trying to hit certain levels, you can adjust with certain things. But I'm a Legionnaire for First Form. So
Hmm.
anybody ever wants any information or product, let me know, and we'll help them out and get you the right stuff. Or First Form has got the culture at First Form is unfreaking real. You could call there and say, dial the wrong number and ask for, a spark plug for something. And they'll be like, well, sir, we don't sell that, but you know what? Hold on. And they'll call an auto parts store and they'll come back on the phone and say, hey, we've got one here, here, here. It's this much at this store. Do you want us to call and order it and get it shipped to you? Like
That's insane.
that's what they're about. They're about helping people. And that's why I love their brand. I do business with them.
Yeah.
That's what it's about, supporting the people who are supporting, this country. It's right back to our country.
Man, heck yeah. I love that so much. Support the people, and people are behind these businesses, right? And companies like that you're truly attracted to, that's what's the big difference is the people behind the brand. And so some people think it's just, we got to keep this corporate image, but it truly is the people that make up the
They
company.
could give a shit about corporate policy or not policy,
Oh
but
yeah.
corporate philosophy. They've made their own culture, and they are one badass business to mess with anybody. I mean,
Heck
he
yeah.
will be one of the biggest brands in this country.
Yeah.
Next to Pepsi, FedEx, he will have that brand name.
Wow, absolutely love it. All right, Anthony, one of my favorite segments that we do on the Dirtbags podcast. And thank you to the Dirtbags for sponsoring the P Break. Of course, thank you to Charlie Huff for sponsoring the Dirtbags podcast and this episode. Make sure you give him a call or text him at 385-268-9939 if you're looking for any construction insurance, any adjustments on your plan, or just to compare plans there. And then, of course, if you're looking for marketing, reach out to me, 218-234-7345. We can help you out there. So the next segment, Anthony, is the book recommendation. This surprisingly, but not surprisingly, has been one of our listeners' favorite segments. Would love to hear what books have totally changed your view of things. Are there any podcasts that you listen to? What has really helped you develop as a business owner, as a leader, as an entrepreneur?
Well, as part of 75 Hard, one of your tasks every day, all the phases, is to read 10 pages of an entrepreneurial nonfiction book.
Yeah.
Um, Number one book recommendation, first book. Well, so it's been revised. Now it is called the Book on Mental Toughness. It used
Hmm.
to be called the 75 Hard. It was just 75 Hard. Written by Andy Frisella, and it basically outlines how to do 75 Hard, how it was created. I mentioned Brian Hess before. He is one of the people that did the beta run with him and reported back on how they were fit. So Brian's in his book. He has a whole little paragraph there on how 75 changed his life. Um,
Wow.
yeah. So the book on mental toughness, absolute favorite. I'm just gonna pick this one up because I happen to be reading it right now. Stop Bullshitting Yourself by Drew Hanlon. This is current book read. That one came from me. That recommendation there came from why am I cannot remember his name right now? Ben Newman. That's one of Ben's friends. Ben Newman's got a couple good books out there. Very motivational.
Hmm.
Jacko Willink got some great motivational.
So
Um,
good.
Ed Milet's got the power of one more.
Yep.
Tim Grover just, I mean, I think some of the best books are written by Tim. Um, I just finished my last book I read was by Ed Stack, and it's how we play the game. You buy it at Dick's Sporting Goods, and it's how Dick's Sporting Goods started with one store and is now this
Mm.
billion-dollar brand. One of so when I first started, so backstory, I never read a full book cover to cover until I was 44 years old.
Wow.
Was not a was just wasn't in books. I actually read one. I take that back. I read one when I was in military school because it was a Vietnam book, and the guy that wrote it was my lieutenant's father or grandfather. So I was
Hmm.
like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna read it. It was the only book I read cover. Then I started reading. I started off with the 75 Hard book, was my first book I ever read. That's when I started. And then I started, with all the motivational books, the Tim
Hmm.
Grover, stuff like that. Now I've been starting to read more like the Ed Stack books on business.
Hmm.
I read a really good one called Traction. It's on the
So good.
on an
Gino
operating
Wickman.
system. Yeah, great book. We are gonna implement that into our business eventually.
Yep.
It's a great operating system, so we're gonna check that out. Entrepreneurial operating systems.
Yep.
Great,
EOS there.
yeah, great freaking book. There was another one, I forget the name of it, but it was on that same premises.
It's probably Get a
Um,
Grip.
yes, yep,
Yeah.
got it. So and yeah, so I've been reading a lot more on those lately. So those have
Yeah.
been some real good books. And I give a lot of my books, I gift them to people when I'm done with them, unless I want to read it again. Like
Yeah.
Ed's book, I still have. That one's very sentimental to me. Ed
Hmm.
calls me the tan Dana White. Um, so a lot of people in the industry call me. I get so every day in public, people come up to me. They want to take selfies with me. Everybody calls me the Dana White of Hardscapes. It's pretty funny if you see the podcast with me and Manny Tejada.
Man.
He
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
calls me the Dana White. It's just something everybody. I guess I look like him. I just want his money.
Yeah. Right.
You know, but I don't even know where I was going. I went off on a tangent there. But yeah,
Dana
there's
White.
a lot of good books out there. But Ed, yeah, Ed, Power One More. His
Yeah.
book, absolutely amazing. He gets very personal about him and
Hmm.
his family in that book. Um, and I've seen Ed speak many, many times. He's one of my coaches.
Yeah.
So I've seen him speak many times. He is an incredible speaker, an incredible motivator, an incredible human being. And the story he has to tell is so powerful.
And I don't even think we've mentioned that The Power of One More on this show yet, but if you guys haven't listened to it, The Power of One More by Ed Milet, such a great book. He also has a podcast as well, so definitely go check that out. One of the books I had also just thrown in, I don't think I've talked about it yet, but I've posted on our story, The Go Giver by Bob Berg, and my parents actually gifted it to me, to all of us boys, and it's such a great book, and I'm about halfway through, so I'll give a full book report when I'm done with it. But definitely would recommend so far. And then uh, talked about earlier the personal MBA. I just finished that book. Definitely 10 out of 10 recommend it. In a nutshell, it takes what you would learn in an MBA in school, and he takes it and puts it in a book, but more real life. Yeah, and so he takes a more real life approach to it because he's run businesses, he's done all this, and he's like, okay, instead of going to school to get your MBA, could you read a book to get the concept of business in a book? And
And
it
you're going to
was,
learn much more from someone who built that business than a teacher.
yeah,
That I had teachers tell me I was going to be nothing but a ditch digger. Well, yes, I am.
heck yeah,
And I don't like to be mean about it, but what are you making as a teacher, and what are we making digging ditches?
yeah.
But that guy built businesses. You're going to learn more from him than you're going to learn from any teacher who's never built a business.
Man, I love it. So definitely the Go Giver, the personal
Go giver.
MBA. Yeah, so good. And then Anthony, yeah, as we are getting wrapped up here, for one, I can't thank you enough for being on the show, being so giving to me, being so giving to our listeners. Everyone, go give him a follow at Anthony Group Hardscapes.
Yep. At
Yep,
Anthony Group Hardscapes, and then there's at Anthony Winter Services.
yep.
And then I know we have a Facebook page for Hardscape Mastery, but I don't
Hmm.
know what we haven't gotten that. Like we're so in this is all just I'm just doing it right now, and we're building the business as we go. It's not
Yep,
about the business, like I said. This is about helping the people. So I really don't care, too much about, oh, do I have a website? Do I have, listen, I'm here to help people. I'm not here to
yeah.
market something. So we'll work with anybody. We just want to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And the easiest way is just shoot him a message, shoot him a DM. He'll get right back to you when he can. And really, just even if you want to let him know that you listened to the episode, that you're listening in, that maybe something made an impact on you, maybe it's the book recommendation, maybe it's something that Anthony talked about in business, maybe it's the 9/11 story. I mean, like, what a jam-packed episode. And I can't thank you enough for your transparency, your friendship, but your leadership as well in business and in this industry. And am so blessed to call you a friend. I'm so lucky that we got to have you on the show, and
Thank you.
excited to see you again soon and reconnect and just pick up where we left off, man.
Likewise, bro. And I'm super stoked to freaking do something to raise some money and get 75 hard in there. So the
Man,
brainstorming here tonight and just talking, like now we're doing
on
something.
the call.
We're
Yeah.
we're taking action. We wrote the play. What are we gonna do
Yeah.
next?
We got to run it, man. That's gonna be the.
Run the
I already
play.
wrote it down.
Let's
I
go.
circled it. That's gonna be the title of this episode. Get the play and run it. And I'm just, man, I'm so excited. Thank you again.
Oh,
Go reach
thank
out to.
you.
Heck yeah, man. This is my job. This is my business, and this is one of the best. I couldn't imagine doing anything more rewarding and fun and impactful, honestly. And the messages that you guys listening send me, I read every single one, and it means the world. Even constructive feedback as well. So a lot of people have, of course, mentioned you and wanted you on the show, and you and I were talking, and we just, like you said, we made it happen. We reached out, and we both coordinated, and you were so excited you jumped on a day early.
Yeah, I
And
did. I did. And I had it on my calendar. So what happened was when we were on the phone, I put it into my calendar, but
yeah,
then and I went on the wrong day. Then it automatically put it in once you sent me the invite. And I
yeah.
should have just let you send me the invite and hit it that way, but we were actually rescheduling. So I didn't know how it was going to work. And so I just put it
Yeah,
in. I put it on the wrong day. Listen, this is the spread. We're transitioning from winter. We've got snow equipment coming home. We've got snow equipment going right from snow jobs to dirt jobs. Like they're not even
yeah,
coming back to the shop. It's that transition season right now. And we're a late game. We don't shut down normally for the winter. I've worked the
right.
last 7 winters. We put concrete blankets down, tarps, and we work. This is the first year we shut the construction end down, and those guys just
Hmm.
ate brine all winter long. We went
Oh
through we
yeah.
ate brine all winter. So
Gosh, I mean, you guys are a powerhouse. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you for this episode. And Anthony, can't wait to see you again soon.
appreciate you, Luke. Thank you, sir.
All right, man. We'll talk soon.